Well, Millie Bobby Brown, if you win an Emmy in a few weeks, I don't know if you know this, you would be the youngest person to ever win a primetime Emmy Award. What do you think about that?
It's shocking, because there are so many amazing actresses out there right now, and just to be part of such a great category and 18 nominations for the show, it's a true honor and a privilege, and I'm extremely excited for the ceremony itself, and then just to be there is going to be so exciting. And then if I win, obviously, probably my life will completely evolve, I think. It will be really awesome to be obviously the youngest, and just to kind of represent the young generation. It would be really, really amazing.
And you mentioned the 18 nominations for Stranger Things. A lot of us were expecting you to be nominated. A lot of us were expecting the show to be nominated. But that overwhelming amount of support for the show, for David Harbour, and for the Duffer Brothers and Shannon Purser, and what were you thinking about? That entirety, that large embrace of Emmy nominations for the show as a whole.
Right. Well, at the beginning, our show was we were such a small group. Barb wasn't supposed to be who she is now. Barb was a local, actually, from Atlanta, and Shannon is she completely deserves it. And David Harbour obviously is so gracious, and he's really iconic, to be honest with you. Especially for us kids to watch him work is truly iconic. But I think that the 18 nominations mean so much to us, and we don't do this, for attention. Our show really just wants to relate and represent, equality and weirdos and freaks and outcasts, and that's what we want to represent, and that's what we want to share to the world. It's not attention, and it's not to make it be a great show. It's to relate to people, and an 80s show that anybody can watch. And I think that's why we got so much love and support for the show, is because our show really just is relatable, and it means so much to us, because we are such a tight group that when we got the 18 nominations, we all started freaking out.
Well, what was that morning like? I mean, was it hard to sleep the night before, knowing that they were going to announce? And what were your expectations on that morning?
Well, the day before, I was working on my new movie Godzilla, and so I was nervous, but I didn't really think of it. I just trying to put it to the back of my head. And then my agents came to town, and I went to dinner with them. And I was sitting at the table, and I was tapping my foot, and I wasn't speaking. I just kept looking down, and that's the moment where I was I really, really wanted to know. I didn't want to be I wasn't worried about if I got nominated or not. I just wanted to know. That was my most important thing, because I hate anticipation. I don't like surprises. I need to just know, and that's it. So that morning, I was just in my dad's office, and I was sitting there. And my dad had 7 devices going on the live stream, on new articles that are coming out, kept refreshing the page. And then the live stream ended, and my dad and I just kind of gave up. So we went into the kitchen, and my dad was making lunch, and my publicist called and told me, and I immediately just started screaming, and my mum was vacuuming the floor, and she looked up and she was like, no. And I was like, yes, and just my whole house kind of went crazy. And my 5-year-old sister, who doesn't know what an Emmy is, or any award that I've ever won, she doesn't even know. The SAG award to her, she just looks at it and tries to pick it up because it's £12. So she has no idea. And she started screaming, and it meant so much to me that she was like, oh my goodness, Millie, this is amazing. And she saw how happy I was, and it was a family affair.
You mentioned that SAG award win, that gigantic statue, first of all, but that moment for the cast winning at the SAG Awards, what was that moment like? You mentioned that the cast seems very tight knit, and you could really see that on stage.
Yeah, I think you did. I think that was right there, so authentic. That was exactly who we are. Nothing was fake about that. Our reactions were exactly how we felt. For each cast member. David was, I think, emotional, and for the first time I've seen him felt so passionate about something. Obviously I see him, he was so passionate about the work that he did, obviously on Stranger Things, but for the award itself, he felt really, really emotional, I think, and proud, and so we all did, and it was probably one of the best experiences of my whole entire career, because not only did I just get to go up there, but I would rather go up there with my whole cast than by myself, because celebrating it with my cast means 10 times more to me.
Well, speaking of that, this summer you did go celebrate on stage by yourself. You won the MTV award.
I did.
Tell us about that night.
That was also really fun, because obviously I got to spend it with a younger generation. Obviously, Paris Jackson and Cara Delevingne and all the other cast members. So it was really fun, because I've been watching the MTV Awards since I was 5. My big sister and I would just sit there and we're like, oh, who's gonna win? Zac Efron or Vanessa Hudgens? When High School Musical was out, so it was really fun. And I was just sitting there in anticipation. Again, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna cry, and then when I got up there I was like, I'm not gonna cry, and as soon as I started talking about the cast and the crew, I cried, because I was very it just, without the crew there is no show, that, and talking about that, I felt so proud and emotional and confused on why I had won, because I think that there's great other nominees.
And interesting thing that MTV did this year was they actually had gender-neutral categories with men and women competing in the same categories, and women actually won both awards. You and Emma Watson on the film side, and in your speech you were talking about how grateful you were to play such a a badass character. What did that mean for you? To be able to compete in that space, among men and women, everyone equal.
I've never been asked a question like that, and since I'm 13, I'm very just focused on my work and what I do every day. But I think that I'm just happy for everything that's going on right now, because I think that it's important that obviously actresses get the same amount of love, and I think that it's happening slowly, but I support it fully.
Now, for the Emmys, you found this out a few weeks ago. You have to submit one episode from the season,
yes,
so the voters can watch, and you picked the next to last episode, The Bathtub. What made you go with that one?
I feel like it was just a massive transition for 11. The Bathtub was the hardest episode to film, because 11 starts off like this, taking off her wig in the first scene to open it. And that scene was extremely emotional, and for me, because I'm taking off something that is showing that I am feminine, and to take that off is kind of showing that, I have to just embrace who I am and who I look like. And it was hard to take off the wig, because as for myself and for 11, and just to kind of, it was a real coming of age kind of moment. So you really just learn how to deal with your hair, and hair is obviously just hair, but to shave my hair off was hard, because it's your hair. It symbolizes who you are. In a weird way, if you feel uncomfortable, your hair is there to protect you, and I didn't have that, so you have to learn, to live without it. And the reason I picked the episode is because it starts off like this in climaxes and then kind of slowly goes down again and then neutralizes itself. So it was a big transition and kind of like a journey for 11, which that's the reason I chose it.
This is your first Emmy nomination, of course, but it's actually your second Emmy ceremony. You were part of the telecast last year, and you gave a musical performance at the beginning of it. Do you think you'll have anything like that planned for this year? And any kind of fun, would you like to sing on stage again, for instance?
Oh my goodness! Of course, I would love to sing on stage again. Of course, I would want to, but I think that night is going to be all about the show. And about all the amazing other TV shows and actors. So I think that I'm doing enough that night. Another performance, I think I might trip on stage or something and be like, woo, okay, I have to get off and start getting ready for the red carpet and stuff like that. So I think we should focus on one thing at a time. I think there's so much happening. I'm already thinking about what I'm doing in the next 3 minutes.
Well, speaking of performing, that opening of the Golden Globes this year was one of the big highlights of everything this entire awards year. What was that like to shoot and then to see it all put together?
Well, the Golden Globes opening for me was probably it was very funny. It was really comedic. I think that when I went we was in the bus, or was in the UPS bus, and all the kids, and I actually learned the rap the day before. I hadn't listened to it, so I finally got the beat and then started just to memorize the lines, and then I got it. And my mum was like, "How are you gonna do it? How are you gonna do it?" I was like, "I'm not gonna tell anyone. So as soon as I get on there, I'm just gonna do it." And then at the end of it, I asked Jimmy. I said, "Can I please just do one where you just let me do whatever?" And he was like, "Go for it." And that's the one they used, is where I threw the cards up in the air and started rapping like a crazy person. So that's the one they used. So it's really fun to kind of mess around and be myself, and then also have a hint of 11 in there.
And it's interesting, from the show itself, we of course, the character 11 doesn't show off your musical side, and we've gotten to see that a couple times since then. Do you have a lot of musical performance in your background? Is that something you've always been drawn to and passionate about?
Yeah. Today I'm referencing my favorite artist, Amy Winehouse. I've loved music since I'd say around 5. I think one of the first songs I ever sung was Wonderwall by Oasis. I mean, I think music is a big part, but right now I obviously want to just focus on my modeling and acting. Got to focus on one thing at a time, because obviously if I do too much, I want to kind of focus on one thing to make it perfect.
Season 2, I know every time anybody talks to you, they want to know things about season 2, even though we really don't want to know things about season 2.
The true fans don't want to know.
I think what I would like to know is how do you all get together and watch, say, the first episode, or how will you see the first portions of season 2?
Well, like I said, I have a 5-year-old sister, and last season I didn't watch the first season, and I will most likely be preparing for my sister's costume, getting all the makeup in. So I'll probably be decorating the house or something like that, and then as soon as it comes out, I have to watch this season, because this season is a true, I think, it's true. It's a true letter to the 80s this time. This time it is crazy and bizarre and so unpredictable in probably the best possible way. So I'm so excited to watch it myself. I've only seen a couple snippets of scenes here and there, but you guys are going to love it. That's all I can tell you.
After
10 out of 10. 10 out of 11. No, 1 out of 11. I don't know what I'm talking about.
With so much excitement that greeted the show after the first season, was it any different feeling when the whole cast and crew got back together to make season 2?
No, it wasn't a different feeling anyway. I think it was the same tight group, and we're still just filming on our weird cameras, and we still have the great props, and hairstyles and cool, you know, clothes and food. You know, we're all the same, and it was coming basically just back home to Georgia and filming a really. We didn't think the show would be big. We didn't, and Netflix did such a great job with publicizing it, and luckily, you know, the show responded so well that we got a second season and we went straight back.
Well, you are an absolute delight. I'm so happy for your nomination, and we're gonna see you, I guess, in a few weeks here on the red carpet. You be sure we're gonna be on the red carpet, so be sure to find us at the Emmy Awards.
I'm finding you. Don't worry. Thank you guys so much.